BowTie Barbecue has always been a work of passion. It takes time, skill, and a blend of perfect temperature, wood, smoke, and meats. We just took it up a notch. Taste the passion. BowTie Barbecue, 6724 Waters Avenue, Savannah.
Like Jim Cantori coming to you live from the middle of a hurricane. Christian Gokel alongside the head football coach for your Benedictine Cadets, Danny Britt. Coach, we appreciate you braving the weather to get out here. A little windy, a little wet, but I mean, that's South Georgia in the fall.
That's us, man. We're used to it, right? We do this all the time, so no worries, man.
It seems like all the people who move here get very excited about the hurricanes, and all the people who have lived here are just annoyed by them.
Yeah, it's just a little bit annoying. We deal with it, almost don't even talk about it. It's just like, okay, we got to move this game, we got to do this. We everybody's like, okay, we got it, we're flexible, let's go.
So with that in mind, Coach, we are going to talk about the Westminster game in its entirety, but just there we go.
Maybe
hurricane gale force winds, baby. Let's go.
Maybe more windy than we thought.
That's right. Just to get it out of the way, the game against Ware County has been rescheduled due to Hurricane Helene coming through, making landfall today in Florida and parts of Georgia. That decision, Coach, was made by you guys yesterday, just in communication with Coach Strickland there in Waycross. Just obviously for the safety of the kids, they canceled school Thursday and Friday. That kind of took a lot of it out of the hands of Coach Strickland. But what went in the decision to move it to Monday at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, obviously, Coach Strickland and I have been talking all the beginning of the week, and he was, we saw what was coming. We said, hold on, let's hold and see. And they had to cancel school Thursday and Friday. Of course, they did. It's going, pretty much originally going right at Waycross. Now it's shifted west a little bit. Unfortunately, going right at where my family lives, and that part of the country in Camilla and Albany area, but they're still going to get a ton of weather, and they had to cancel school for the safety of everybody, and that makes sense. Obviously, we couldn't play there. We were considering a Saturday, but that just didn't work out either, and it is a natural grass field, so we'll be playing Monday at 6 o'clock.
And going back, Coach. We'll get into Ware County and the rescheduling and all that. Going back to this past Friday night, though, you guys play a really talented Westminster team, and you were coming off of back-to-back bye weeks. We had talked about it. Don't know where the energy level is going to be like for the team. Didn't know it's just playing at speed, I guess, is something you develop as the year goes. And taking 2 weeks off in a row all of a sudden, didn't know where that was going to be at. But, man, came out and put up your best performance of the year in a 31-3 win.
Yeah, I think the guys really, really came out and performed. I didn't know. I felt like we would come out and be excited to play. You'd hope so. Like, you have 2 weeks off. You've been doing nothing but practicing and excited to play. I didn't feel the energy as much before the game, so I was a little concerned. But we came out, and the boys really got after it, extremely physical. And that's what we wanted from them. We talked to them. We said that's what we wanted. Number one, we wanted physicality. We wanted to show, hey, we are Benedictine. We are physical, we are dominant, and the boys came out and did that across the board. And I'll mention a few people as we go from here and things that they did specifically to that. But very proud of that. I thought we played really hard and really well.
And just from our conversations the past couple of weeks during the bye weeks, one of the biggest things you talked about was just kind of finding the identity of who you are on offense, especially in the run game. And I'd say, I don't know what the conversations were had. I don't know what kind of breakthroughs you guys – I have an idea of what one might be, but I don't know what all the breakthroughs you guys had were. But something worked because you guys put up over 550 yards of offense.
Right.
Again, the 31 points there would have been more except for a couple of turnovers from the quarterback there, one on a tip ball and then one just I think maybe trying to do a little bit too much while scrambling. But that said, over 550 yards of offense, 300 through the air, 200 on the ground. Can I take a stab at one of the things you guys made a decision was?
Sure.
Get the ball to number 4.
That's a very good choice, isn't it? Yeah, no doubt. That was definitely one thing we had talked about. Of course, we didn't really have to talk about it. AJ was just like, hey, 4's getting the ball.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the offensive line came out, and that we challenged them. We challenged them really hard after the Burke County game because we weren't moving people against Burke, and certainly taking nothing away from them. Frank does a great job defensively, and they got after us a little bit. Well, we changed. We came up with some different scenarios with the guys, and some rewards and things we were going to do, and they really came out and physically just mashed Westminster, who's a very, very well coached team, and they play hard defensively and offensively. But Jacoby Ward ended up with 7 hit men, which are pancakes. 7. So that's impressive. And, so he got rewarded for that. Ralph Scroggins had 4. So they just did a really good job. We physically ran. Stan Smart, I want to mention him.
Yeah.
He hadn't scored a touchdown yet. And we were actually picking on him the other day. And he, I think I hurt his feelings a little bit. And I'm like, man, hey, it's going to happen. It's going to be a floodgate. It's going to happen. But he ran really hard, physically hard. And then, of course, the buck sweep, the last touchdown scored by Bubba Frazier on that buck sweep was textbook beautiful in the blocking and the running of it, and it was unbelievable. I love it.
Well, let's talk about that rushing game a little bit there, Coach. I know we've spoken about how do you get it going? What's the identity going to be? And just from watching that Westminster game, I think a lot of it was numbers dictated. You kind of ran or threw a screen to the side of the field where you guys had the number advantage, which is a huge advantage that you guys have, where you have a really good running back next to the quarterback and then some really talented guys in the slot. You can kind of make that decision as a staff which way you're going to go. It's interesting when you get to the line and you have 2 plays that you can run.
Right.
It takes some talent to do that. But also, I thought you mentioned the offensive line, kind of some new stuff, not necessarily to the team, but to the season. A lot of backside guard and tackles pulling and coming and leading there. Was that stuff you guys worked during the past couple of weeks?
Yes, definitely. That over the past 2 weeks, Coach DePhillips, Coach Coleman, Coach Edwards all sat down and really sat down and said, what are we going to do? How can we make this happen? We have to run the ball. What are we going to do to make that happen?
Right.
And what can we do to help them be successful? And part of that, ways to get more blockers over there, get the numbers and get them moving. That certainly is, offensive linemen love to be able to get moving and get some momentum generated when they hit somebody, and they did a good job with that. And so that was part of it schematically, just what can we do to help them and then work them as much as we possibly could without getting anybody hurt over the past 2 weeks, just training that.
And I mentioned there, Coach, having the multiple options. There's some RPO elements to this offense here, and it's something the quarterback takes a while to develop, especially at game speed. But right now, is that something Steven's making the decision before the play, or is he looking to the sideline getting that call?
No, he's making the decision. We have a number of RPOs that Coach DePhillips calls, and he has a choice.
Okay.
And now he's taught all week,
yeah.
and worked on it all week on if it's this, then this your option. If it's that, then this is your option. But no, he's making that choice and does a really good job with it, actually.
And for the folks at home, just kind of an example, you guys run trips a lot where you have 3 wide receivers to one side, you have a running back right off the quarterback's hip of the shotgun, and then a tight end on the line on that side. And basically the quarterback has 2 plays. He can hand it off to the running back, or he can throw a quick screen out to the outside. What does that do to you as a defense trying to stop that?
It's really hard. And of course, people are running it now, and it makes it very difficult because what you have, you're playing a combination defense, whether you want to or not.
Right.
Like you have one group of guys who are getting this read and they're having to play this run because the linemen are blocking the run, right?
Yeah,
they're blocking the run, and then the other side of the defense is playing the pass because they're getting that read. So it's really difficult to defend. It's the new option. It's the new 100%. Triple option is what it is.
I just got to play gap sound.
Yep.
And make sure you got a man-to-a-man. But that said, with the development of quarterbacks, I'm going to let you hype up the program here a little bit. There's not a ton of high school quarterbacks that are able to run that consistently. What does that mean when you're talking to coaches that are potentially recruiting a Stephen Cannon when he's already running this in his junior year of high school, and this is the stuff that they're installing at the college level? Yeah,
it means a lot, and we talked to them. I think, first of all, the program in general, forget about the quarterback spot, you talk to college coaches and they'll say, okay, we like kids coming from Benedictine because they are prepared to play in college, both in how they one, academically, 2, how they know how to lift weights, how they know how to train. They're used to the time constraints, and all of that because we do follow the same, procedures there. And then football wise, they've been coached and they've been taught how to play hard. They've been taught how to do collegiate level things. And then of course, with the quarterback, it's always magnified, right? That spot. And it means a lot to be able to say that he can run the RPOs. He can get the signals. He can manage situations, read the secondary, read the coverages and know where to put it and that sort of thing. So it means a lot.
I do want to get back to Bubba here because he just had an unbelievable game. 4 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown there. And then through the air, 7 receptions for 233 yards. and a touchdown. Had a couple of really long plays through the air. One on a fade route, one on a little underneath tunnel screen, and then, like I said, just explosive in the run game. But I think maybe the best example of just what kind of a player he is, as you mentioned, that last touchdown on the Buck sweep is it's blocked up perfect, and we always talk about it. A good running back on that play gets 7-8 yards. A great running back takes it for a touchdown, and you just kind of watch the patience, and he lets the holes develop, and this makes guys miss. I don't know that he was touched on the play while he navigated through there. Just a really special athlete and someone, as you get into reach and play, that is probably going to get a lot more touches than the 11 that he got in this game. Seemed like a lot more, but just 11 touches.
Yeah, and he also had one return for 29 yards. So I think it was 340 yards of total offense.
That'll do.
Yeah, that was pretty good night. But yeah, that Buck sweep was unbelievable. If you get a chance, go back and look at the end zone shot of that play. It is, you'll love it as a football player. You'll love it. And everybody blotted exactly right from Jacoby Ward at the tackle spot to Jack Gannum at the slot to the pulling guard, and then what he did, what Bubba did, and when he got in there and clean your cleats is what they say in wing T. Clean your cleats, get north and south. He did that, and the corner actually was unblocked, and he came down like he was and completely whiffed. Just completely was like, because he accelerated so fast, and of course nobody was touching him at that point. So beautiful play. Bubba is a special athlete and do so many things, and so we want to keep getting him the ball as much as possible.
Yeah, just kind of lightning in a bottle. I think is the best way to put it. Just he touches it, everybody kind of holds their breath on the other side, and it's eventually, I think, going to open up the offense for everyone else when they're having to try to bracket or cover two or double cover. A guy like that kind of opens up the offense for everyone else. But I guess kind of wrapping up that offensive performance from you guys, if we're trying to find an identity, I think this offense is very multiple, right? We went under center in a single back formation, which you don't even see that in college hardly anymore. That's mostly just reserved for the NFL now. So it's very multiple, but it seems like regardless of what the defense puts out there, the way this offense is set up right now, you'll have an answer going forward.
We will, and Coach Phillips is incredibly talented. Does a great job, and we have a ton of athletes. Like you mentioned, Double and Bubba. I don't know how anybody's going to do that. I hope they do. Because we have a number of guys, and JoJo Sutton and Mekhi Williams coming over from defense, which we're rolling them in now, are just adding to that. So, but yeah, it is a multiple offense that can do a number of things. Steven's doing a very good job of running it, and our offensive linemen, sometimes it's hard because they do so much. That's what I try to explain to people early in the year. It's hard for them to be successful as linemen because they're not just running the same few plays over and over again. They're having multiple schemes that they're having to learn how to block.
Yeah, it's not run left, run right, and pass block. There's a lot.
There's a lot to it, and so it takes a little while to get fluid at it, and they're doing a good job with it now.
And with that offensive line, I know you lose some size when you lose your starting left tackle to begin the season, but sometimes, and we've seen this in the past, especially I think during the 2021 championship run, is you don't need a giant offensive line. You need an offensive line that gets to where they're supposed to be and does their job, play in and play out. And maybe with a smaller, more athletic offensive line, it might allow you to do more when it comes to getting linemen out in space.
Definitely, and I think that it does. And we were trying to tell the guys that we had, they gained a lot of weight, and we're like, you need to lose weight, because we got to be able to move. The kids, they get caught up in what they see the guys playing on Saturday weighing. Well, those guys are 20 and 21 years old.
And most of it's muscle.
Yeah. I mean, but when you're 16, 17, 18, you're going to weigh less and be able to move better. So definitely you're correct on all of that. And that you don't have to be big. I mean, it's nice to be big and can move.
Sure.
But you don't have to be huge to be able to play the position.
And just wrapping up the offense here, Stephen Cannon, your quarterback, 17 of 23, 308 yards through the air, a touchdown. We mentioned a couple interceptions. One on a tip pass close to the line that just got unlucky. The linebacker was there. One on a scramble where it kind of took me back to week 1 where it's, man, if you just run it, you get 15
Right.
yards. But he saw a receiver flash open over the middle, but it's the number one no-no that you say to quarterbacks, don't throw back across your body over the middle because there's usually going to be a safety there. And unfortunately for Steven, there's a safety there. Just kind of grade his performance and what you saw from your quarterback on Friday.
So what I want to say, and I told him this, I called him on Saturday, and he was on his way down to South Florida. I told him his stats. I said it was really good. I thought he played really well when I went back and looked at it. I said on the radio Friday night that I didn't think he had a good game, which would be to be expected. Like, It's okay, it's going to happen. But I was wrong. and so I said I was going to say it on the radio again that I was wrong. I was. I thought there were several things. So obviously that one, it was bad, and he can't do that. He'll learn that lesson.
Sure.
It is what it is. The other interception, what are you going to do about that? It just got tipped, and the guy made a good play, but it just kind of fell in his arms.
Sure.
And so there you go. The others, when I thought, okay, why didn't he release the ball? Well, there was somebody, they had run a blitz that was coming right at him. It was covered. They had dropped. When I got on film, I'm like, okay, that was the right decision. So everything really, but that one play that was bad, got through the interception was good decisions.
Yeah.
So, and then he had 308 yards. So.
Correct. And a touchdown. And dropped a few in a bucket. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Final question here on the offense. Where do you keep getting these quarterbacks from, man? I know I think in high school, the reality is if you don't have some kind of background as a quarterback, unless you're a freak athlete like Lamar Jackson,
right?
If you don't have some sort of background as a quarterback through middle school and developing there, it's really hard to get to high school and become a quarterback. At this point, you got to start early if you're going to come into high school expecting to play.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate, blessed with the quarterbacks. I mean, Holden Gerner, obviously his brothers played here. He was a legacy. His dad, his granddad, his great-granddad were BC guys. So he was coming to BC. And then Luke came in, Catholic folks. They moved at I think 4 years old. When he was 4, started going to St. James. So, he was just another one coming in. And then Stephen, I think, looked over and saw the program, and his parents saw the program and said, wants to be a part of that, saw the development of the quarterbacks. Sure. AJ does an incredible job of developing quarterbacks and also, schematically running a great offense. So why wouldn't you want to come to Benedictine if you're in the Savannah area?
Well, I was going to say, if you're looking at resumes, you got Auburn quarterback, Florida State quarterback. Right. That's a pretty good resume right there.
Yeah, if you're looking at well, here's my opinion. If you're looking at resumes of a football program, why would you not want to come to Benedictine? So
100%. Coach, flipping over defensive side of the ball, you guys give up just 3 points there. It seemed like the first half they had a game plan, and then you guys made, I don't know, adjustments is the right term. We just kind of tightened up a little bit there. But I thought what was fascinating to watch in this game is very early on, Westminster realized they were going to have to score points and they were going to have to throw the football. And for guys like Third Scroggins and Cam Cody, they had to be licking their chops because it wasn't guys diving at their knees every single play. It was straight up pass pro, and they got to work on all the moves that they work on throughout the week. Cam Cody ends up with a sack. Third Scroggins ends up with 4.5 sacks.
4.5.
So for those guys, it had to be fun. When you just go out there and pass rush, that's fun as a defensive lineman.
It was fun. I think, they came out and had a good plan against us. Westminster did, and which people are going to do. Move the ball a little bit early on us. Coach Houston does a great job with in-game adjustments. I'll tell you that they have the laptop, the
tablets
and the TV and all of that now that they can go to. I never got to do that as a defense coordinator. Sure. I never had all of that.
You had a kind of imagination whiteboard.
Right. Yeah. So now, man, that's got to be awesome. But he does a great job of using that. And once he did make a few adjustments, made those slight adjustments, figured out what they were doing, it was over. And they weren't able to run the ball, so therefore you're right, they had to start throwing the ball, and we got a couple dudes that can go get him. Yeah. So third ended up just going off and having 4.5 sacks.
I've heard college coaches this year, because it's the first year where they have in-helmet communications and tablets on the sideline. I've heard college coaches say the tablets are far and away bigger and more significant impact on the game than the in-ear communications for the quarterbacks. I guess why is that such a vast difference there? I mean, what's the impact?
So all right. So, and you remember as a player, you come off and a D lineman's always getting triple T.
Yeah.
Right. Well, before now, we didn't have the ability to know what was really happening except for the guy in the box. Well, now we can go and say,
Coach, they're holding me. It's like,
yeah, this is exactly what's happening. And this is exactly what they're doing. And then you can adjust to it and you can show them they're actually learning in full time. And I would imagine most football players are visual learners. I know I am. Like you can tell me something, I can read something, but if I see it, it's so much better.
Sure. So
they can see it, so everybody can make those adjustments and make real adjustments, not just listening to what somebody's saying. And so that is just such a massive difference. And again, I think, our guys are doing a really good job of using that technology.
And Coach, you don't get 5 sacks from 2 players without some good coverage on the back end there. When they did kind of go to that passing game, I thought the back 4 really had a solid game in this one. Discipline. They tried to run some combo routes, good communication back there in the secondary as well. And what I've kind of noticed these past few games, specifically Burke and then Westminster, is the guys you have, especially when you run zone, do a really good job of eye discipline. They're not getting fooled. They're not jumping up on a screen when their responsibility is to drop back. And since the Raven Gap game, have done a better job in communication. It just seems like they're very comfortable in their roles right now.
They have been, and it's been very good. And that's, you play those games like a Raven Gap, and they exposed us, right? Yeah. It looked really bad for the secondary coach in that game, and because we just got eaten up by some basic post wheel type stuff, and where we didn't switch and not having good eye discipline.
Sure.
So of course we corrected that and coached that up, and they've done a very good job since. And we're going to have to continue to do that. And the other thing is, I think they're doing a very good job of playing physical when they get the chance too. Right. Making big.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a harder hitter on the team than Mekhi Williams.
Mekhi has this I call him like Cobra because he strikes like
it doesn't seem like he's coming in that hard, but all of a sudden, dude's on his back.
It's unbelievable. I don't even know exactly how he does it. And the thing is, he's the most calm, hardly ever speaks, type kid. But my gosh, he plays, and then JoJo plays angry, which fits his personality if you talk to him. Zach does a good job. He's a smaller body guy, but he does a very good job of getting him on the ground. And Wyatt's not necessarily a huge hitter, but does a good job of knowing when to go for a big hit or when to, just get them on the ground.
So Wyatt seems like the guy who, when all else fails, he's going to be back there. He's not going to let anybody get behind him.
And that's what we want from him. Yeah. That's what I taught to him. I said, sometimes you're going to get absolutely run over. That's part of it, but just get them on the ground.
That's why you're the safety.
Right. Yeah. You're the safety. Your job is to get them on the ground. Now he's going to have a chance where we're rolling up and, he can get involved physically in the run game and that sort of thing. But for the most part, you're the last line of defense. You got to get them on the ground.
You know what that guy does get, though, is the easy interceptions. When there's that wounded duck in the middle of the field, he's the one who always just kind of gets to fair catch that one. And
that's what makes it fun. I told him earlier in the year we got beat on in cover 5, which is man free. Right. I'm like, my gosh, I used to love when they would call man free, and I get to be the safety back there because you're just playing center field. You're just picking stuff
looking
off.
At the quarterback.
You're just picking it off, man. You just get the easy one. So anyway, I think that is a fun spot. He's doing a good job of playing that.
Again, giving up just 3 points got to be something really fun to go back and watch that defensive tape where just as many highlights on defense as there was on offense. But now, Coach, we turn the page and we get ready for region play. Ware County coming up on Monday, little Monday Night Football.
Yes, sir.
Coming your way this coming week. No game on Friday. Going to be kicking off at 6 o'clock on Monday against Ware County. We'll break it down, what to expect from the Gators next, right here on the Danny Britt Show, live from BowTie Barbecue.
At Benedictine Alumni-owned Stacked Firewood Delivery, we're all about the best premium firewood, conveniently delivered in manageable stacks at the right price. We're talking kiln-dried, pest-free firewood. You see, our custom stack is equal to about 10 fires. Choose oak, cherry, hickory, or mixed hardwoods. Stacked Firewood Delivery. Go to stackedwood.com. That's stackedwood.com.
When it comes to blocking all the obstacles that life throws your way, let Vernon Williams and Auto Owners Insurance help you dodge the hits, analyze the playing field, and run the ball all the way home. We shield you so you can have peace of mind when it comes to auto, home, life, or business insurance. As one of the oldest and most respected independent insurance agencies in the Southeast, we know what it means to stand behind the people we protect head on. Trust in the power of the shield since 1934. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
You know, Christian, after a day of the hottest sports in town, sometimes you just gotta unwind.
Yeah, Kevin, and the perfect place to do it, Cool Vibes Pizza and Wings.
That's because Cool Vibes offers delicious pizza, wings, sandwiches, and salads, all with a Jamaican Caribbean island twist.
And the atmosphere is 100% kicked back. No worries, man.
Plus, they're the home of the Oxtail Pizza.
Cool Vibes Pizza, 4501 Montgomery Street, Savannah. That's coolvibespizza.com. Cool with a K.
Come on and unwind at Cool Vibes.
BC Brothers Moving is Savannah's most trusted moving service. From residential to commercial to packing supplies, BC Brothers does it all. Let BC Brothers' energetic, trustworthy team wrap it, pack it, and move it for you. Check out BC Brothers online at bcbrothersmoving.com or give them a like on Facebook. Ace Hardware is celebrating 100 years of helpful, and Rincon Ace Hardware is your locally owned hometown Ace Hardware at 591 South Columbia Avenue in Rincon, Georgia. From A to Z, they've got it all to help you get things done. Rincon Ace Hardware is a proud BC sponsor.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Welcome back into the Danny Britt Show live from BowTie Barbecue right here in the heart of Savannah. Coach, that's what we wait for. Region play finally starts this week.
Yes, it starts to get real this week, just like when you start to get close to retirement, not sure if you have enough put aside. If you're over 50, like me, contact Abel Zion Moore and Associates to make sure you're on target to reach your goals.
And, Coach, it's interesting because you talked in the last segment, we hear it over and over again, that you go out and you schedule these state champion level teams to play against as tests. Well, now this year, you got a whole bunch of state champion level teams in the region, and that starts coming up on Monday against Ware County, a team that very recently won a state championship. Coach Strickland has done a great job. It's one of those jobs, Ware County is, where it's kind of like the Alabamas and the Georgias, where it's just you need to get a guy in there who can kind of manage the talent. There's always going to be players at Ware County, and Coach Strickland has done as good a job as anybody in the state of taking that talent and turning it into a really good program.
He has. It is a great program, and Coach Strickland does do an incredible job. We've been friends and gone after it, for years now. And, so he does a tremendous job with it. They're always going to have talent. They're always going to have size. They got speed and guys that, good old country boys that play hard.
Right. And you look on Saturdays in college football and you'll see a whole bunch of guys that used to be Ware County Gators playing football at the next level. But I think one of the unique challenges, Coach, is playing on the road. I know, we've always played in Statesboro, played up at Buford, but I think Ware County, one of the toughest places to go play, not because of just how good of a football team they are, but that's really one of the communities that it matters to everybody in that city. And Memorial Stadium in Waycross is going to be absolutely packed, and they are a fan base that knows how to engage in the game.
They do, and it will be. It'll be a great environment, I'm sure, even though it's on Monday night at 6 o'clock, which but I'm sure there'll still be a great environment, and they'll be supporting their guys as they always do and should. But hey, it's nothing new for us. We've been into these places plenty of times, and we went into Buford and competed there, and I try to turn it and let it energize you.
Sure.
That let it energize you. Enjoy it, enjoy the crowd, enjoy the atmosphere, and let's go get it.
Well, they always say that's why you go play in the SEC or you go play in the Big Ten, is so you can go to those stadiums and into the hostile environments. That's why you come play at BC, so you can go play in some big-time environments and historic places. I mean, Hank Aaron played at Memorial Stadium back when it used to be a minor league baseball field.
Right.
So it's one of the more historic and I think one of the cooler looking stadiums in the state.
Without a doubt.
But again, we talked about this, and I'm a big fan of this, but all-natural turf there at Ware County. So with what will probably end up being about a week's worth of rain coming up, could potentially be a slow track out there. How does that affect y'all as an offense?
It does, and hopefully I'm hoping for, once this thing passes, hopefully passes them early Friday morning, we get a lot of sunshine and dries out that
Gonna have some
grass.
folks out there with hair dryers trying to
if I could get down there, they wouldn't arrest me for getting on there. I would. I'd get down there and dry it out. But hopefully it's fairly dry by Monday, because that is a part of the game. It is what it is. We don't play. I told the guys Monday, I said, hey, we're going to be playing at Ware, and they play on what is called grass.
A lot of people do that anymore.
We never see it. We never practice on it, never see grass. That's part of what what you have to do, and it's usually very, very well manicured.
Right.
Now, we played down there 2 years ago. Hurricane was coming through. Not something where you had to cancel, but it was really nasty, and it was an absolute mud fest. So it affects the game. So we got to be prepared for that.
And the Gators have been struggling a little bit here as of late. Coach gets shut out 10-0 this past week against a really talented school, 5A school out of Florida there. But still, it seems like they haven't been able to click thus far on offense. Now, some tragic news a little bit earlier in the season. They lost a running back to something you never want to hear for anybody, but especially a kid, to a cancer diagnosis. Right. But beyond that, it just seems like injuries and identity just haven't been there so far for them.
Yeah, they've had some injuries, and of course, that young man had to leave because of a cancer. But which we're praying for him. We prayed for him as a team that week when I found out, and always will do that. But hopefully they take one more week to get their identity and get it.
You don't want to be the get right game.
No, do not want to be the get right game. So we're hoping that doesn't happen here.
I know Jason Strickland's always going to have a well-coached football team, but just go and watch the tape, as I know you guys have for Ware County. How's this team maybe a little bit different from years past and what they're trying to do?
Yeah, a little bit different. And things that they're doing offensively. They're still trying to run the ball to set up the pass and do that sort of thing, but don't seem to be going downfield as much as they have at times. Certainly, when they had Castellanos, so it's a little more of the short passing game, and of course, always trying to establish the zone run.
I was going to say, offensive line wise, it seems like they just always have 5 or 6 guys that are 280 plus that can move you. And I think what's always so dangerous about his offense is they'll get you going side to side, and then they'll just gut you right up the middle. How do you defend that as a coach?
Well, the only thing you can really do to defend it is you got to stay. The thing about football now is you're having to defend sideline to sideline and entire field.
Right.
So you just have to be sound everywhere, and your guys. It's so much harder now to just stack the box.
Sure.
Because people aren't allowing you to do that. So they're not going to allow you to just stack the box. So the guys that are inside are going to have to just play inside and be able to handle it.
Now, again, Monday night, 6 o'clock, just weird. You're going back to school on Monday, and all of a sudden you're having to get ready for a game that matters. This is huge in terms of the region standings and potential playoff seedings here. When it comes to your thought process, what you're communicating with the coaches, what are going to be some of your keys to going into Waycross 6 o'clock on a Monday night and taking a win in the region?
Yeah, I mean, really no different in the sense that, hey, same thing. You always got to be prepared and you got to go play. Now, here's where it gets hard is like, so we're pretty much off today. I mean, we're going to meet and then we got to go home and get ready, for the hurricane or the storm to pass. And then, hopefully we'll get a light practice in tomorrow. We're off Saturday and then have our normal run through on Sunday. So we're trying to keep it as regular as we possibly can. We did have 3 really good days preparing, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we're just going to have to go back onto that. And the biggest thing is to keep it fresh. You don't want to, I could say, okay, let's practice Saturday. Let's practice, really, really long tomorrow. And then what happens is it gets stale to them.
Right.
And I've had that happen in the past, and it's stale, and they're like, my gosh, we've run through this, and they're not even excited about it anymore. You don't want to let that happen. So hopefully we can make it be as normal as possible, so that, it'll be Monday, but hopefully it feels somewhat like a Friday to them, and we can, go play the game. And the truth is, once it's kicked off, you're playing football, man.
Right.
I mean, whether it's a Monday or Sunday, you're playing football.
I always heard Coach Sean Quinn, former Savannah State coach now over at Virginia Tech, say he don't care. He'll meet you in a Walmart parking lot. If you can line up and play football, he'll meet you anywhere, anytime.
And again, it doesn't really matter, and we have to have that mindset and attitude. And I think for the most part, and the school really helps with that. But Colonel Owens used to say, when the cadets are asked to dance, they dance.
So we'll be dancing at 6 o'clock on Monday night. We'll have the broadcast. We'll kick off at 5:30 with the pregame show, and then we'll have live video broadcast. But still, encourage anybody who can to get out to Waycross on Monday and support those cadets. Coach, it's real. It's here. Region play, and then the drive to the playoffs starts now. Man, we're excited about it.
We are too. Hopefully we can just keep getting better and look forward to seeing everybody out there on Monday.
And again, you'll be able to catch all the action right here on watchbcsports.com. For Coach Britt, I'm Christian Gokel. We will see everybody on Monday night.
Go Cadets.